Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari
Yashodanandana Vrajanarandana Yamunatiravanachari
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatiravanachari
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan.
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devi Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtiki
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki.
So today's auspicious Vaman Dvadashi was celebrated on the Mahadvadashi Ekadashi fast. So, we'll be reading from Canto 8, Chapter 22, Sloka number 2. Shribalir
Shrivarirvacha
Yadyuttamashloka
Yadyuttama bhavanamritam
Vacho Velikam Suravarya Manyate
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Karomritam Tam Nabhavet Pralambanam
Karomyarikam Karomyarikam
Padam Titiryam Purush Shri Shri Me Nijam
Padam Tritiyam Purushishni Nijam
Yadyuttama Bhavan Mamiritam
Yadyuttama bhavanamritam
Vacho Vyalikam Suravarya Manyate
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Karomritam Tan Nabhavet Pralambanam
Karomyarikam Karomyarikam
Padam Titiryam Purush Shri Shri Me Nijam
Padam Tritiyam Purushishni Nijam
Yadyuttama Bhavan Mamiritam
Yadyuttama bhavanamritam
Vacho Vyalikam Suravarya Manyate
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Karomritam Tannabhavet Pralambanam
Karomyarikam Tannabhavet Pralambanam
Padam Titiryam Kuru Shri Shri Me Nijam
Padam Tritiyam Purushishni Nijam Shrivarirvacha
Yaduttama-shloka bhavanmameritam
Yadyuttama bhavanamritam
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Karomritam tanna bhavet pralambanam
Karomyarikam Tannabhavet Pralambanam
Padam dutiyam Shri Menijam
Padam Tritiyam Purushishni Nijam
Shrivarirvacha
Shrivarirvacha
Yadyuttama bhavanmameritam
Yadyuttama bhavanamritam
Vacho Vyalikam Suravaryamanhyate
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Karomritam Tanna Bhavet Pralambanam
Karomyarikam Tannabhavet Pralambanam
Padam Tritiyam Kuru Shri Shri Me Nijam
Padam Tritiyam Purushishni Nijam
Shrivarirvacha
Shrivarirvacha
Yadyuttama bhavanmameritam
Yadyuttama bhavanamritam
Vacho Velikam Suravaryamanhyate
Vacho velikam suravaryamanhyate
Karomyarikam Tannabhavet Pralambanam
Karomyarikam Tannabhavet Pralambanam
Padam Tritiyam Kuru Shri Shri Me Nijam
Padam Tritiyam Purushishni Nijam
Word to word meaning. Shri Balihi Vacha.
Shrivarirvacha
Bali Maharaj said, Yadi, if, Uttama Shloka,
Uttama Shloka
O Supreme Lord,
O Supreme Lord
Bhavan, your good self, Mama, my, Iritam, promised, Vachaha, words, Velikam, false, Suravarya, O greatest of all Suras, demigods, Manyate, you think so, Karomi, I shall make it, Ritam, truth, Tat, that, promise, Na, not, Bhavet, will become, Pralambanam, cheating, Padam, step, Tritiyam, the third, Kuru, just do it, Shirshni, on the head, May, my, Nijam, your lotus feet. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Bali Maharaj said, O best personality of Godhead, most worshipable of all the demigods, if you think that my promise has become false, I shall certainly rectify matters to make it truthful. I cannot allow my promise to be false. Please therefore place your third lotus footstep on my head. Purport. Bali Maharaj could understand the pretense of Lord Vamanadev, who had taken the side of the demigods and come before him as a beggar. Although the Lord's purpose was to cheat him, Bali Maharaj took pleasure in understanding how the Lord will cheat his devotee to glorify the devotee's position. It is said that God is good, and that is fact. Whether he cheats or rewards, he is always good. Bali Maharaj therefore addressed him as Uttama Shloka. Your Lordship, he said, you are always praised by the best of selected verses. On behalf of the demigods, you disguised yourself to cheat me, saying that you wanted only 3 paces of land. But uh, later you expanded your body to such an extent that with 2 steps you covered the entire universe. Because you are working on behalf of your devotees, you do not regard this as cheating. Never mind, I cannot be considered a devotee. Nonetheless, because although you are the husband of goddess of fortune, you have come to me to beg. I must satisfy you to the best of my ability. So please do not think that I wanted to cheat you. I must fulfill my promise. I still have one possession, my body. When I place my body for your satisfaction, please put your 3rd step on my head. Since the Lord had covered the entire universe with 2 steps, one might ask how Bali Maharaj's head could be sufficient for his 3rd step. Bali Maharaj, however, thought that the possessor of the wealth must be greater than the possession. Therefore, although the Lord had taken all his possessions, the head of Bali Maharaj, the possessor, would provide adequate place for the Lord's 3rd step. Om Ajnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shlakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saditam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna. So today is auspicious Ekadashi, and we see that in Krishna consciousness, as we had discussed many times, the aspect is that we have to become more and more attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, and for doing that, there are certain other aspects also should be taken care of. So the aspect is that everything that exists belongs to Krishna, and everything should be rightfully engaged in the service of the Lord. And when we are trying to approach Krishna, so all the parts and parcels, which are his aspects, so that also should be dealt with properly. So that is called the proper etiquette. And one of the etiquette is that, so as the time passes by, so there are different dates that come, and the different dates, how do we deal with them? So like we see that there are great personalities who have taken birth, and the Supreme Lord himself had appeared. So when the Tithi comes of that particular personality, so we must celebrate that with a festival. So now we see that Vamana Dvadashi is there, so like Lord Vamanadev's appearance, so that must be celebrated. And then like we have Jiva Goswami's appearance also today, so that must also be like, we should remember those great personalities, and we should observe, fast, or like we should glorify about them, and we should actually meditate on their teachings, and take benefit of that particular thing. So this is how this is the proper etiquette towards these great personalities and towards these sthitis that actually appear. So this is very essential, for us to advance in bhakti. Otherwise, if this etiquette is not followed, so then it is considered to be an offense. So now when I was reading the Mahabharata, this particular instance had come, that when this in the Virat kingdom, so they were in disguise, and when the period of disguise almost got over, so that time, the Kauravas actually had taken waged a battle against Virat kingdom. So that time, so Arjuna comes out to fight, still dressed up as a neuter gender, so still dressed up as an image, and he tries to wage a battle, and the discussion is happening. Who is this person? Who's coming? With so much power and valor and things like that, and he looks like a neuter gender and things like that. And then Arjuna shoots 2 arrows. One goes, and near the feet of this one Bhishma, another goes near the feet of Drona. So then immediately they understand this guy is like Arjuna only. So he's begging the permission, for starting the battle. And then even the Kurukshetra war, when it is supposed to start, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he gets down from the chariot, he goes to Bhishma Dev, begs for permission, and takes blessings, and then Drona and Kripacharya. So all these 3 personalities he goes, and then they say that it is good that you have come. If you would have not come, we would have cursed you. So it is a very essential aspect. So these etiquettes are very, very important actually. So great personalities are there, superiors are there. So one takes the blessings and permission before starting a particular activity. So here we see that this is also very important. This one, these tithis, these important dates, when the appearance day of the Lord comes, when the appearance day of great acharyas come. So we observe those particular dates with a lot of reverence. So before getting into Lord Vamanadev's pastime, so we are also tomorrow is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, but we are fasting for that today. So it is good to remember the great Acharya and also Jiva Goswami. So we see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur's contribution in our Krishna consciousness, in our life, is that this also is another important thing which I was just contemplating about. If we see the various training programs that we were discussing about, so if you see the first training that is offered is that faith in the scriptures and faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what all things actually come in the way to this? So the scientific proposition that man has come from animals and apes and things like that, that has to be thwarted. And then man has gone to moon, so that is against the scriptures. Again, that has to be countered. And then Mayavad, so how Krishna is not a person, that has been explained there. So we have to break that, and we have to show how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a person, and he can he can be served and he can reciprocate and things like that. So this is also very essential aspect. So these are all aspects are very, very essential to establish Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead and scriptures as the ultimate authority. So this is all there. That is very much essentially that we have in the Gita course. So to do that, we can actually bring a person on the platform of Shraddha, so he can start practicing. So then after that comes the Sadhu Sangha. So in Sadhu Sangha we see that without Sadhu Sangha we would have not come into understanding Krishna conscious principles at all. So but then this Sadhu Sangha is little more than that. So wherein we depend on that particular aspect. We have complete confidence on that particular aspect, that without Sadhu Sangha, I will not be able to progress. So come what may, I will not leave the association of devotees. So this is, like this it actually comes. And if we see in the category, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's main contribution, one of the very, very important contribution is that fighting against the Apasampradaya. That was particularly at that point it was there. And also when we were studying some of the courses conducted by Vedant Gauranga Prabhu, so we could able to see the clarity which Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually offers. So now we are able to study, we are able to study Prabhupada's purports, and we are able to execute Krishna consciousness nicely. So, but time to time, so this clarity must be offered, and the clarity with which the philosophical subjects are discussed, the clarity with which all the aspects of Krishna consciousness that we are performing, it's so amazing. So when we read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's literatures, it is very very crystal clear about logically explaining every single aspect. So just like the Sikshashtakam, this one, prayers, why it is so, what is these prayers all about, and which level each of these prayers actually address to. So it is very very nice. So one of the main contributions which I feel very much important in my life, which I got to know during those sessions in Namashra Bhakti, is that Durdaivam Yaha Janina Anuraga. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually gives a explanation. What is this Durdaivam? What is this unfortunate situation that I am not able to get attracted to the holy name? So this unfortunate situation is the offenses that is committed. So it's a very important learning that I got. So from there, I could able to utilize that particular point. And then whenever I am not able to do my japa properly, so I'm thinking that something I am doing wrong. So I must set right something. It is not that kabhi acha lagta hai, kabhi acha nahi jata hai. So it is okay, like it is yet another day, so we have to pass through. So the mood was like that before. So now whenever chanting is not going good, so the self introspection starts. Something is going bad. I have to correct myself. Somewhere I am doing something wrong. So this helps me. This is one thing which I owe to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that it's a very great this one. So I just heard 1-2 classes, so not too many classes also. So in that itself, this particular point, which helped me a lot in making my Krishna consciousness, progressing in Krishna consciousness. So this is a little bit of glorification of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then Jiva Goswami. So again, this is a glorification I heard. So in the Radhikaraman Prabhu's classes on Tattva Sundarbha. So before starting, he glorifies Jiva Goswami, and he mentions it's a very different glorification which I've heard from, which I've not heard from others. So it is like he is the youngest of all the Goswamis. He assisted, various Goswamis in writing their literatures and things like that, and he is marked with a very very amazing this one. So amongst all the Goswamis, he is the expert manager. So it was mentioned that he preserved all the Goswamis' literatures, and then he entered into pact with the Mughal kings, and to preserve the Govindadev temple and other temples which are there, and to preserve this manuscripts. Because the Muslims every time they used to come to, anytime their treasury is weak, immediately they'll come to Vrindavan and they'll loot all the temples and things like that. So but still, even with that, so many temples were there at that point in time. So but only the Goswami temples which are there, only that is preserved. So why? Because expertise of Jiva Goswami. So he made a pact with the Mughal rulers. Okay, you do whatever it is, you don't disturb these things. So he made some kind of an agreement with them. And then preservation of the literatures. So that is also very very amazingly done by Jiva Goswami. And also expertise in this one, philosophy. He particularly went after the period of all the Goswamis. He actually went to Varanasi. He studied under the this one Mayavadi gurus. And all the philosophy he completely studied. He memorized all the commentaries of Shankara, commentaries of Madhvacharya, commentaries of Ramanacharya, all of them he actually memorized, and he actually gives the commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam later on, establishing the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, right? So, and he had this, only 2 things I'm able to remember, memory is very weak. So he was mentioning so many wonderful aspects, multifaceted person, and Prabhuji actually compared that to Srila Prabhupada. So how Srila Prabhupada was a scholar, he was expert in Sanskrit and translation and studying the previous Acharyas' purports, and then giving commentaries, and also he was expert in management, and he was expert in so many various aspects. We see that. So these kind of personalities, very very expert personalities, are the founders of our sampradaya, who have actually given a very very solid foundation to our sampradaya. So in that way, like we are very much indebted to Jiva Goswami, and we see that like when we study about these personalities, it is not some historic personalities. They are just historic personalities. They are very glorious and things like that. So we have directly been benefited by that. Hmm. This is one shloka which I always cherish, is that when Parikshit Maharaj is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, so at that time, like Shukadeva Goswami summarizes the whole Krishna's pastimes in few shlokas. So that time, Parikshit Maharaj actually says that you see this personality, like I have some connection with him. So what is the connection? So I was about to die, and then he saved me. And then what are the other connection? So my grandfathers, they were fighting the battle of Kurukshetra, and it was like ocean which is filled with Timingala and which is filled with like so many ferocious animals and things like that. It is not at all possible to cross over this ocean. But this personality, Krishna, he has helped them, and then through their help, they could able to cross over all these things. So we have a solid connection with them. So please explain about Krishna more in detail. So this is something that he actually makes. So in the same way, we see that these great personalities whom we worship in the altar, and whom we appreciate as the Guru Parampara, these are very very significant personalities. So they are not just a historic personalities about whom we are just studying about. So they are very important personalities in our life. Through their contribution, we are able to perform or execute our Krishna consciousness, and we are dependent on them. This is very very essential point. We are dependent on them. Through their mercy, we are able to advance in Krishna consciousness. It is not that these personalities, they came and they went off. No, it is not like that. So they are still present, and they are still ready to give their mercy to us. So we are dependent on them. So when we approach in this way, they are our masters, and we are dependent on them for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So and whenever we discuss about these things, we can also remember about this line, that is in the bhajan, Vaishnava bhajan, Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakati ache. So when we pray to these personalities, when we remember them, so we can actually remember this particular line, that we want to attain the lotus feet of Krishna, and Krishna is their property. And if they wish, they can actually bestow Krishna upon us. So in this way, we can actually appreciate these great personalities who are there in the line of disciplic succession, and actually take shelter of them, feeling dependent, and feeling indebted and feeling dependent on them. And also practically, we should see that how we actually get advantage, how we actually get the benefit of these personalities through their teachings, and through their personal example. And coming to today's subject, it is the subject matter of Vamana Dev. We see that after Samudra Manthan, so this a huge fight happened, because the Lord came and he cheated as Mohini, and he gave the nectar to the demigods, and demons were very much afflicted by that. And then there was a huge fight that was happening, and then Bali Maharaj was slaughtered in that. So his head was separated from the trunk, and all the demons were flying in different directions. But Narad Muni came and told, you see, your master, he is lying down dead, so why are you not taking care of him? So please take this body and on the head and take it to your spiritual master Shukracharya. He knows this one Sanjeevani Vidya, with which he'll bring him back to life. So then they take him, and then Shukracharya actually joins the trunk, and then he chants, he does whatever the Sanjeevani, this one is there, and then he brings him back to life. And literally, Bali Maharaj is very much indebted to Shukracharya. Sometimes people say, Prabhuji, because of you, I'm you've given my new life, in Krishna consciousness. And here literally Bali Maharaj was given new life. He was literally dead and he was brought back to life. And Bali Maharaj was feeling very much indebted, and he was doing everything that Sukracharya was mentioning. And then Sukracharya told, like, now we will perform Vishwajit Yajna, and in this, you will become invincible and you will conquer all the planetary systems. And then it was performed, and then Bali Maharaj very easily, sweeps across the whole universe. All the all the regions in the universe actually comes under his control, except for some principle. This one's like Brahmaji's position, and few things were given. So rest everything was conquered. So then, I don't know, like, why demons leave that aside, because Brahmaji is like, simply sitting in meditation, so he is no threat, something like that. Or from him, they get a lot of boons and things like that. So, anyways, that's a speculation. So they left aside those properties. So he conquered everything else, and then all the demigods, they are in this one. So they actually go incognito, and they live somewhere in without the knowledge of anyone else. So when the Dev Mata, like Aditi, she sees these things, she feels very bad that my sons are the rightful enjoyers of these heavenly planets, and they have been deprived of that. So then she performs some tapasya, to get the mercy of the Supreme Lord to bring back the kingdom, and the Lord agrees to appear as Vamanadev. From Kashyapa and Aditi. So then when Lord appears, he actually, so many different demigods, they come, and then they glorify the Lord, and they give so many things to the Lord. Somebody gives the deer skin, somebody gives the upavita, somebody gives the rod, and somebody gives the begging bowl, and somebody gives the first alms. Who gives the first alms? Parvati. She gives the first alms. So like this, all this ceremony happens, and then he goes to the place where Bali Maharaj is performing his sacrifice. So the sacrifice is, he has already performed so many, he has already conquered the heavenly planets, and now they are fulfilling the criteria. To perform the heavenly planet, to attain the heavenly planets, one must perform 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. So now that has not been performed before. So now they are fulfilling the criteria. First take the position, and after that get qualified. So something looks like ISKCON's task delegation. First the service comes, then later comes the this one Yogyata. So like that. So now we see that then that happens. Then after that, there is this interaction that happens. Bali Maharaj sees that there is a nice Brahmana that comes, and then he wants to give charity. And then he asks the Brahmana, and he says that I want 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj is telling, like, why are you insulting me? If somebody comes to my door and begs, and he should not have to beg in another door. That should be the position. So why have you asked for something so small? So then there is a lot of discussion that happens. Bali Maharaj talks about the aspect of satisfaction. He says that if one is not satisfied with 3 steps of land, he cannot be satisfied even acquiring the whole universe. And that's what the case with Bali Maharaj. He has got the whole universe, and still now he is in anxiety. He is performing further Ashwamedha just to secure that position. So, but here Vamandev is telling, like, satisfaction is, contentment is very important principle. To become happy. So like, I only want this much. So then Shukracharya comes, and then he says, like, this is Vishnu in disguise. He has come to get the job of demigods done. We come to snatch the property, your property, and give it to the demigods. So then, even after advising in that way, Bali Maharaj doesn't waver. He actually sticks to his promise, and he says, like, if this is Supreme Lord, so I must serve the Supreme Lord. And the spiritual master is supposed to bring a living entity closer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but then, you are asking me to go away. Then he rejects the spiritual master, and he agrees to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is also very important aspect. So we have discussed this many times, that the spiritual master is very important personality in our life. So, but then when he is supposed to be the transparent via media to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is supposed to receive the service of the disciple and pass it on to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So that is the position of the spiritual master. And a living entity, he becomes very much indebted to such a spiritual master for giving him the opportunity to get closer to Krishna. But if the same spiritual master becomes hostile to the service of the Supreme Lord, so then such a spiritual master should be rejected. So this is the classic case of when the spiritual master must be rejected, right? So this is very, very essential. Then we see that in fact, in this particular point, we used to highlight this aspect, that how here the Shukracharya had given the life to Bali Maharaj, and he was so much indebted. And in this case, in this life, we can actually see how Duryodhana and Karna's affection to Duryodhana is because he has given me so many things, I have promised him and stuff like that and all. So, but then here we see anything that is going against the will of the Supreme Lord, or anything that is going against the service of the Supreme Lord, so then immediately it should be rejected. So we see that so much worldly morality that is being practiced, that is being highlighted so nicely. So, but in the same case, we see the case of Vidura also. Vidura is also very much devoted to the kingdom, Kuru kingdom. But then when this one was there, he repeatedly opposed to them. And when repeated opposition comes, this one Duryodhana becomes irritated, and then he asks, "You get lost." And this is the best thing. I could have not fought. It is very difficult to fight against the Supreme Lord's will and the Pandavas, the righteous people. And if I'm there, part of the kingdom, so then I have to fight against them. So what is the best way? You reprimand this thing so badly that they themselves tell, "You get lost, you are our enemy." So get lost, then it is so nice, you can get lost. So this is Vidura's policy. So though he was there in the wrong camp, but still he utilized his intelligence nicely, and he actually get out of the that camp. So in this way we see that the Lord's will is the ultimate thing. If the Lord's will not be compromised, so then the next dharma can be followed. And if that will not be compromised, then the next dharma can be followed. So, but by following a lower dharma, we are compromising a higher dharma, so then it is not very good. And the ultimate dharma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the will of the Supreme Lord, and that must be followed at any cost, actually. So here we see that Bali Maharaj, he sees that the Supreme Lord, he should be he should be served, and before which he has taken the vow that, or he has become indebted to his spiritual master for giving the life back, but he goes against that particular relationship here. So here he gives importance to the will of the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord is asking something, and the spiritual master who has given him the life, he is asking something, and he rejects that, saying that no, the will of the Supreme Lord prevails. No, that's what I am supposed to do, and he actually fulfills the desire of the Supreme Lord. And he agrees to give the 3 steps of land, and with 2 steps, the Supreme Lord, he actually measures the whole of the upper planetary systems and the sky and everything. He actually measures, and then now in this particular shloka that we are discussing today. So here, before this, Bali Maharaj has been arrested by the ropes of Varuna, and then he is kept prisoner. And then, Supreme Lord is asking him that, you spoke that you will give me the 3 steps of land. No, you failed in your promise. Now what can be done with you? So you are such a cheater. You don't live up to your words, and for this you have to go to hell. So this is what the Lord is actually telling. So this is somebody may argue saying that you came as such a small boy and you asked for 3 steps, and I agreed for that, and now you take such a big body and then you measure so much and things like that. So how can this be possible? There is so much of argument that can be actually brought about. We see that in the case of this one also, and Duryodhana, he was till the end he was completely convinced that whatever he was doing is completely right. Till the end he was not at all convinced that he has done any wrong actually. So that is this one. We see that people who are not very mature, not very advanced in Krishna consciousness, they will it is very, very difficult for them to find anything bad in them. So always they find the bad in others only. They will not be able to find anything bad in them. So it is not. I didn't read this in Mahabharata, but then it is told. I don't know what is the source. So this like once there was this one was asked between Yudhishthira and this one Duryodhana. That Duryodhana was asked bring somebody who's superior to you, and then Yudhishthira was asked bring somebody who is inferior to you, and both of them went, and then they returned back saying that we didn't find anybody. So I don't know if it is authentic story or not, but at least it matches with this one. So Duryodhana could not able to find anybody who's better than him. No, he found some fault in everybody, and Yudhishthira could not able to find anybody inferior to him. So how is it possible? So we see that people who are envious, or people who are not Krishna conscious, or even we can say people who are not mature in Krishna consciousness, so they find that okay, this person has this fault, so he has some fault, so okay, I have that particular thing I am very strong at, so he is inferior to me. So he is actually comparing with his strengths, with other person. And the aspect of this is like classic Daksha case, where he was mentioning that Shiva is inferior to me because he married my daughter. So, but then Shiva is superior to him because he was born in the universe before him, So he's elder to him. So he is not considering that particular factor, right? So, and then another classic case is, Manu Maharaj comes to meet Kardam Muni, So both of them are representatives of the Supreme Lord. Being the king, he is representative of the Supreme Lord, and being the Brahmana, he is representative of the Supreme Lord. And definitely being a Brahmana is more superior to the Kshatriya Varna. But then Kardam Muni says no, you are very great. And this one, what is that? Manu Maharaj says you are very great. And both of them are giving substantiation how the other person is great. So they are not seeing what is their qualification. They are seeing in what way this person is greater than me. So then we will find ample opportunity to find the greatness in other people. So, but if we compare in the way like Duryodhana was doing, so then always we will find no, I am the right one. No, the other person is wrong. So that is very, very this one. That is not very good. For a person, means that just shows that this person is not very mature in Krishna consciousness. He is only able to see the other person's fault, and he is completely convinced of his own self as completely right. So, I don't know, why did we get into this topic?
Bali Maharaj did not fight.
So Bali Maharaj did not give any argument. So he was seeing, now the purport Prabhupada actually gives the mind of Bali Maharaj. He says that definitely Vaman Dev, you cheated me. You appeared in a different way, and then you did something else. It is definitely a cheating. But I will not bother about that. I am only bothering about my word that is given to you. I have gone wrong in my word. So I will try to see how to fix that particular thing. I will try to see how to give the third step of charity to you. So this is a very, very amazing thing. It's really, really very great levels of maturity or great levels of advancement, so that this person is seeing the other person is completely faulty. He is cheating. Outrightly he is cheating. So but then Bali Maharaj is seeing that how can I what is the fault in myself, and how can I fix my fault. So that's a very, very important thing. In fact, one time somebody was asking a good performing student, how is that you are able to perform good. So this one student was actually, this is amongst my friends, so one student was actually scoring very nicely, and then he was always concerned about the subjects that he has not studied. So then the other person told Ray, you are always scoring nicely, why are you worried about subjects that you have not studied? So then the other person told, because I am worried about the subjects that I have not studied well, that's why I am scoring nicely. So here we see that a person who's supposed to advance in Krishna consciousness, he will see, this is a lacking that is there in me, and I have to fulfill this particular thing. I have to get over this weakness. And a person who is not very much interested in advancement, who is just interested in justifying his ego, he will say that like itna to banta hai, like so what are you so great or what? No, you have this fault, you have that fault, and things like that. So because he is not very much interested in advancement in his own life, he is not able to find the gap in his in his particular advancement. So here we see Bali Maharaj, though there is ample opportunity to point at Vamana Dev, like he is pointing at himself, saying that this is a flaw that is there. I have promised you 3 steps and I am not able to do it. That is my fault. And now let me try to fulfill that particular thing. It's a very amazing thing. So when I was hearing that Bhagavad Katha, Maharaj ka naam kya hai? Gaur Krishna Maharaj ka. So Maharaj actually tells, when this particular thing happens, when Bali Maharaj says this, and then he offers his head to the Supreme Lord, still determined to fulfill his vow. So like all the demigods, demons, everybody like applauded, saying that what a surrender to the Supreme Lord. So this is unimaginable. This particular act is like really, really very amazing. So being being a demon, performing such an act is like unimaginable actually. So this is something that is very much appreciated. So why it is appreciated? Because somebody who has been arrested, he'll be like shivering, or he'll be like, kind of completely blown away, saying that, so many things, so many reverses happens. And like for us, when we are chanting, little bit somebody comes in the door, or like some other sounds and things like that, or some thoughts, can easily distract us. And here, he has given a vow to the Bali Maharaj, and so many things are happening. His own army is being destroyed, and then he's been cheated and taken the whole property, and all that he has worked for, till now, everything is taken off. So there is sufficient things to disturb one's mind is there. But still, Bali Maharaj is, his point is that, I have to serve the Supreme Lord. He has asked me something, and how to fulfill that particular thing. He is not being disturbed at all by all the reverses that is happening, around him. So this is something really very, appreciable, and this is something that is needed also. What is the difference between the chanting of a person in Shraddha or Sadhu Sangha or Anantanavritti stage, and what is the difference between a person who is chanting in the stage of like Bhava and Prema? Is like here in the initial stages, any small disturbance, it is sufficient. The devotee gets disturbed, completely gone. So and the first thing they will do is like give up devotional service. So that is that is the like initial stages. And later stages is what? Come what may. Like even if you spit at my face, even if anything that happens, I am not going to give up the lotus feet of the Lord. I am not going to give up the process of Krishna consciousness. So they become so much fully attached. And here we see that Bali Maharaj being practicing in a higher stage of devotional service, like very, very elevated stage of Krishna consciousness, where he is like fully focused on serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in spite of so many other reverses that comes, in spite of like he could put so many conditions to say that like Bali Maharaj is at fault. He has like Vamana Deva is at fault. He has not done whatever he has done in a just full way. So, but because of this, like he could able to please the Supreme Lord. He could able to make tremendous advancement in Krishna consciousness, and he was blessed by the personal association of Lord Vamanadeva, for a long time to come. So this is something which I could able to extract from today's purport. So any comments, questions, or discussions on this particular subject? It's a very, very important subject. Personally, for me to introspect also, this is one thing which I always fail, that justifying myself that I am right, and then like not finding the gap in me and trying to fill the gap, and trying to see like how close I can go to the Supreme Lord by becoming more humble and becoming identifying the faults in oneself, and to get closer to Krishna. It's a very, very important meditation. So I thought this particular thing we can discuss today. Yes,
Clarification. This aspect of finding faults in oneself and not in others. Seeing this thing in others. So this aspect is only for self-introspection, but not in a managerial role. In a managerial position, definitely this would happen.
Mhm. Means,
In managerial role, you have to find faults, no?
yeah.
So this is for one's own growth in Krishna consciousness,
Yeah.
not for manager.
So the thing is that a person who is effectively able to find faults in oneself, so he should be given the position of manager. So then he finds fault in others to correct, and still no, he managed to find fault in himself also. So he has to perform a dual role as a sadhaka, making advancement in Krishna consciousness, and just to perform the duty, of being being an authority. So, but if he likes finding faults and he's never able to find fault with himself, so then that case of this one dog case, no. So it happens in Ramayana, this particular this one. Huh? So like the dog comes and says like the best punishment for this, for this offender is that you make him the Matadipati. And why? Because why are you giving that this one? Because the last time I was like that, and actually I did so much best and I became a dog. So if we are not a proper sadhaka, if we are not making advancement in Krishna consciousness properly, so then we will dig our own grave and we will fall into it, right? So it is very, very essential that we may be able to justify things, by logic and argument, but finally, whatever the Lord decides, that's what happens. So that is why it is very essential. This attitude, the third stanza of Sikshashtakam, that amanina manadena, is a very, very essential thing. That finding fault in oneself and then finding good in others. So that is when we will make tangible progress. That is when we will progress in the higher stages of bhakti. Till then, we will be there in the lower stages, and we can convince the whole world how I am right. But we will not make the advancement. What is the point? So just by convincing the whole world I am right. So then it is this one. So that is why it is very essential that before, whether we like it or not, in some years, we would have seen many years, so we will become seniors. So, and we will be given some responsible positions. And that naturally happens. So, but then we have to gear up to get to those positions. So we have to see that we become a very nice sadhaka, that we find fault. This is one thing which nobody knows. It's very, very personal to us, which nobody knows actually. So even most of the times, even our own superiors will not know what is our particular this one position in Krishna consciousness and how we are actually placing ourselves, how we are actually trying to advance in Krishna consciousness. So it is something very, very personal, and even if we are not able to express it to anybody, so we can ponder to ourselves and we can go to the Lord. Lord will never speak this to anybody. Our faults. No, we can actually go and pray in front of the Lord, right? So then, in that way, we see that we become self-critical. It's very, very essential. That is when we will be able to find our gap and we will be able to make advancement, right? So, and whenever we talk about this, we also talk about the other aspect. The humility also means, intense absorption in the Lord, thinking more about the Lord. And all these things simultaneously is present. So in the third stanza of Sikshashtakam, Amanina, Manadena, and Kirtaneya Sadahari. So if we have to remember the Lord more than us, so then we have to be self-critical, Amanina, and then Manadena. We have to give the respect to others. And then we will be able to think of the Lord in excess quantity. Otherwise, we will not be able to do Kirtaneya Sadahari, right? So we will only be all these three things simultaneously and progressively should happen. If any one thing happens than other, so it is mentioned that if we are too self-critical, then we'll get into depression. So without Krishna consciousness, Kirtanaya Sadhari will not happen. We'll become completely depressed. So then if we become too much appreciative to others, more than what they are, or this one, then it will become, then it will result in offense. So then it is inappropriate glorification of another person. So it is artificial glorification of another person. So then also we will fall. And artificially we try to become Kirtanaya Sadahari, we will become Sahajiya. So without Amanina and Manadena. So we'll get into some other zone actually. So all these things in the right mix, it has to be there. That is when we will make sufficient advancement. So we have to be first a proper sadhaka and thinking that how to find fault in oneself, and then giving respect to others and things like that, and then we assume roles, different roles, and sometimes we are given roles before that, even like sometimes all the times, most of the times it is like that only. So I see in my own life that I was given many positions before, like I was sufficiently advanced, and I did sufficient mess also. And my sadhana was too much distracted and disturbed and stuff like that. So, and I went down also because of that. But Krishna is merciful somehow or other. Like he, picked me up, and this contemplation again came, and could able to now we see that it is still it's a difficult thing. Sometimes we are able to do, sometimes we are not able to do properly. So, but we have to constantly see what is the fault is there in me. So that's a good position to be in. Even as an authority, when we find fault, it is better to think that maybe I'm wrong. We better to assume like that, maybe I'm wrong, and then try to correct the situation with that attitude. And many times, who knows, like maybe the other person may emerge right. We never know that. Always it is better to see that maybe I'm wrong. Like that. So that's a good position to be in. Yes.
Like you give example of Bali Maharaj, he was not trying to justify like Vamanadev's cheating. So while being blamed for something, so in which situations, like in all situations we should be like that, in which situation we should justify, in which situations we should not justify.
So this is something we don't have much of choice. When we are pushed to this kind of this one, our real advancement in Krishna consciousness will come to play. So you see that it's such a situation if it happens to us, like if it happens to me, like I'll call all names at the opposite person. It is in that situation, when provoking situations are there, we cannot apply intelligence. Like I should do like this or I should do like that. It is out of question actually. So I will do what I am, what I am like, what is there inside. So that will come out, not at that point in time. So we see that we try to make sufficient advancement in Krishna consciousness. So that is our primary thing. So we try to see that we become absorbed in our process of chanting. We become absorbed in the studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we do this thing nicely, so then this advancement will happen, and then when in the trying situations, we will act in the appropriate way actually. So this, if we artificially do something, we will not be able to maintain that position. Right? So we have to tolerate. So if we take the lesson, okay, we should tolerate like Bali Maharaj. And when provoking situation happens, first of all, intelligence will not kick in. So if by God's grace, intelligence also comes into play, and then I say like I'll tolerate. So we cannot tolerate. It is like if we tolerate, we'll become a volcano. At some point in time, we'll burst. So then it is like it is not very this one. We see that all these good points we take, and then we keep it as a good aspiration, a goal, and then try our best to follow. So, but the real thing that we need to follow is the self-advancement. So that needs to be improved actually. And then minor cases, where it is not very provoking, so we can try to follow this particular principle, where we try to see that we find good in others, and then we try to find fault in oneself, and then be tolerant if somebody is committing any mistake and things like that. So, but artificially this cannot be done. So everybody has a threshold, and beyond which he cannot artificially practice this particular principle.
When some blame comes, like we should, if we are not having that genuine humility or like that tolerance, then we should give justification. Justification means natural logic, which is there.
Yeah, so we should see that what is natural to us, we should try to do that particular thing, and if we see that situation may become worse, by doing that kind of logic, so then we should take shelter of an superior. So, and we should openly tell, this is what I feel, this is what is a just thing, and this is like done with me in an unjust way. So please, I am submitting my plea to you, so you do whatever is the right thing to be done. So when we submit to a higher authority, so then this thing can be handled in a nice way. Any other questions or comments or?
And this also, like you were telling about Kardamani and Swambhu. Like this we should try to do with everyone, like appropriate glorification of other person.
Yeah, appropriate glorification. If we do inappropriate, so then it becomes an offense. So it is like if you glorify a person beyond proportion, then it is as good as sarcasm actually it is. So then it becomes an offense. So we should see that appropriately we should glorify. Generally people who glorify too much or who are glorifying as a ritual, we can very easily identify, and then people will not feel very satisfied with such people. They will feel very uncomfortable with such people actually. So we should do genuine glorification as much as it is there. And if it is not coming, we should pray to the Lord. So one important and simple aspect in Krishna consciousness is we know what is needed for like pleasing the Lord. And if it is not there with me, we should just go and beg and pray to the Lord, and the Lord will award that to us. So when we do that, then Lord will empower us with the power of glorification, and we can go and properly glorify the devotees. So like that. So inappropriate glorification will not foster good relationships. Any other questions? Okay, so it's 9:30. So we'll pause here. So today is Ekadashi and also fasting. So anyway, we are supposed to invest our time in prasadam. So that is saved now. So we can do some Vaishnava bhajan and we can also chant some extended rounds. So till 12 o'clock, we can have prasadam together. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.